What about the book or the script really caught your interest to want to be a part of it?
For me, my audition scenes kind of gave, as a little spoiler, a little bit about, some of the struggles that Glee goes through in the movie. It gave that away. And for me, I was immediately drawn to her because I just haven't really seen a young Asian American girl in Catholic school in the 80s having to go through some of her struggles. And so I was very excited about the prospect of playing her and representing that story. And I feel like also just like the womanhood of it all, just being really excited that it was about, friendships between women. I thought both of those aspects were, immediate pulls. And then it was also just hilarious. So it was good. I knew I wanted to be a part of it.
And then Rachel, how about for yourself?
For me, I definitely think that the time period it's set in definitely got me very excited to be a part of it. I think that, the 80s is sort of trending right now, and the way that it's being filmed these days, with that retrospect of being, so many years after, there's just such an electric liveliness to things that are being made now set then. And so when I saw that, that immediately drew me to the project. And with Margaret specifically, I'm not a Margaret, but I do know Margaret's. She is rooted in a lot of insecurity and takes that out on her really close friends. And that was kind of hard to play at first, not hard as in hard to do, but like hard for me personally to have to go through that for her. Because, on the outside, she seems like, she's the tough one. She's like the funny one. She's cracking the sly, underhanded jokes, but that is all to cover up, like this broken girl. And so I think that sort of depth and complexity that I saw when I originally got the sides, I was just like, this is something I would definitely want to explore and discover with.
Well, and so both of those character dynamics that you've mentioned, meaning Rachel and Cathy, I mean, those really play into the group dynamic as well. And a film like this, the emotional stake is really invested in if you can feel that chemistry amongst the actors. And I know I certainly did, but what was it like for the four of you building that off camera before filming?
Filming it off camera was definitely fun. I feel like for me personally, I was kind of flown out and was very soon on set. So it was kind of like discovering the piece as we were sort of discovering each other. But with that being said, I feel like we got close very quick. We were very quick to start having movie nights together and being like, how can we be girlies? And like, how can we get this going? And it definitely was really fun, especially with Elsie and Amaya as well. The four of us, I think that we clicked very quickly and we're all very different. And I think that we all bring different things to sort of our core four situation. And it was very fun getting to know these girls, and we had an incredible time on set.
I
Cathy?
just like, oh, sorry, yeah. But just like hearing you say that, yeah, I always forget, like, we're actually all very different people. But I think it's like you said, like, we bring different things to the table. And I think the differences between us make it so fun every day on set. Like Rachel, I'm just saying this right now, but like Rachel would be in like a French accent every single day on set. And that is not something that I would have thought to do. But it just brings joy to kind of like an otherwise creepy situation sometimes. And I think everyone found a way to do that. And it made it feel like, oh, we're safe together. And so that was awesome. Yeah. And like, I don't know. We also all lived in the same building, like while we were doing this. So we were just literally neighbors bothering each other the whole time. It's very easy to get close to each other.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you got to have that experience with one another behind the camera as much as in front of it.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned the movie nights, though, I mean, did you put together any to give you all specific inspiration for that 80s time period for the movie?
We were talking about this earlier, and like we didn't necessarily do that because, okay, first of all, I don't actually know that any of us are that great with horror. So what ended up happening was like we'd get together for a movie night. We were probably supposed to watch like Friday the 13th, and then we would just watch like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, like here's the thing with streamers. It's like you get on like, this is what we're watching, and then first of all, it's not on there, so you're like, okay, what else are we gonna watch? And then you just end up scrolling through all these things. So we definitely ended up bonding through trying to watch these watch list movies. We definitely had a watch list, but I don't think we ever
We didn't go through it.
very far with it.
Well, I mean, Hocus Pocus isn't nothing, right? It's at least still in that spooky side of things.
True.
So what would you then say was each of your biggest creative challenges getting to the heart of your characters?
I would say, okay, getting to the heart of my character, I felt like I did understand her, but as maybe not like one of the two lead girls, I wanted to make sure that like Glee did not come across as one-dimensional. And of course she has her arc, but it was important to me because like we don't see a character like her that often. And then the other giant challenge for me was just that it was my first like live action film, and the Amazon team and Damon were taking this wonderful chance on these young actors, but like I think it was hard to know how to translate my training or my experience in theater to film, and making sure again that Glee comes across as a three-dimensional full human, while maybe kind of being a little off kilter as Cathy in that situation. Yeah, so that was definitely a challenge, but they made it easy.
Very similar to Cathy. I think that coming into these roles of we're not the best friends at the front of the film, but we're right there. So it's like being able to have that three-dimensional depth, although we're not the two main best friends in it. It wasn't necessarily a challenge though, because I feel like the script, it's really written in there for us to have this depth. And so for us, it just was about mining the script and like mining what Jenna already put in there for us. As these side characters, we still already had that three-dimensionalness written in for us. So for me, it was pretty easy to sort of figure out where I fit and what the part Margaret is supposed to be playing in, Abby's life and Gretchen's life and Glee's life, but also who Margaret is for herself. And so that actually wasn't very challenging. I feel like the writing team did a really good job of setting that up for us to win.
Well, you both carried it very well onto the camera, as much as the writing did. I truly enjoyed this film. I really can't wait to spread the word about it. So thank you both so much for taking the time to chat. I really do appreciate it.